Right. Hi, everyone. Helena here with your, Speaker Insight, where we help speakers, authors, and coaches to build a business on your term. And it's normally Helena here and Kelly here, but as you can see, you have got just Helena here, and that's about as good as it gets for now. So I'm just going to do the thing where I allow everybody to come on in and actually share this out to the other places that we are sharing this out into. So I'm just going to make sure that I can see everybody's comments. So do say hi if you are around. Tell me what is happening. There's 3 of you watching already, which is a very good thing. So I'm just going to make sure that that's big on screen so I can see this. And we will turn the mute off.
Share this out.
There we go.
To the other
Stop.
places.
There we go. Beautiful. So now I can actually say hi. Hi, Jack. Very nice to see you. This is Claire, everyone. So we'll be speaking to Claire in a little while. I'm just going to do the sharing out thing and make sure that it all goes to where it needs to go to. So whilst you're all coming on. Today, we're actually speaking about how to find the perfect venue, which is one of those tiny little things that can be massive in terms of the impact that actually comes on in your business. So I'm just going to share this out in the Connection Hub because it is officially 1 o'clock. I did start a little bit earlier. So I am just going to do this as Speaker Insight and share this out into the Connection Hub. There we go. Just so that everyone can see what is happening. How to find oh, my typing isn't working. The perfect venue. Brilliant. Right, for those of you who are not members in the Connection Hub, that is the place where speakers, authors, and coaches have the conversations, and there have been quite a lot of interesting conversations over the last little while, but that is where they actually have the conversations that really help them to be speakers, authors, and coaches in the world. It's also where people like Claire hang out in order to be of service and help to speakers, authors, and coaches, which works really rather well. I'm saying hello to any of the change makers. Jack is one of those as well. Hang on, they're just going to put that in here so that they can join us from in there as well. And then we might be good to go. For those of you who are on already, Jack, that includes you. What is the buzz in your business? The buzz in your business is, for those of you for whom this is the first, the buzz in your business is basically anything exciting, enticing, inspiring that is going on. Maybe you're going to some awards, maybe you are doing some live training, who knows? Tell us what you're up to and why it's buzzy in your business. That is what I would really love. And whilst you do that, I'm just going to share this out to Changemaker, and then I think we'll be good to go. The buzz in our business is that Kelly is not here because Kelly is just coming back from Prague. It is their anniversary weekend. So 2nd anniversary for her. I was just away for our anniversary, which was our 16th anniversary. And that was the Cambridge Folk Festival, which is a norm for us. I completely and utterly love it. And it really is a good place for me to go and hang out. So I'm kind of chilled as I'm sort of speaking to you. We have, for those of you who are watching again, please do a hashtag replay because we do enjoy hearing, when it's the right time for you to do the hashtag replay. It just makes a lot of sense for people to watch this whenever they need to find a venue. There'll be so many beautiful tips for you that it just will be amazing. Hi, Sarah. Very nice to see you all the way from Canada, I believe. So I think the other thing I want to tell you in terms of the buzz in our business, we have a Connect and Create Day coming up. So for those of you who are in the Connection Hub, please do join us for the day. Oh, hi, Joe. Very nice to see you. We have a Connect and Create Day coming up on the 9th of October, and that is where the members actually kind of meet in person at a really nice venue that we love being in. So I am going to just share that out for you in there. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about in terms of the Connection Hub, it is a brilliant place to just meet like-minded, like-valued people. So please do come and join us in here. Jack's buzz in the business is that she's remade a content calendar on Trello and is getting her marketing plan sorted, finally getting your head all around it. And there is nothing like that, hun. Good on you. I'm so pleased for you. The other buzz is on Thursday. In fact, I'll probably be seeing several people who are going to be joining us live. I'll be seeing you for a vision board, well, a Wonder Space and a vision board workshop. So I'm quite excited about that. I do still have 4 places, so ping me if you would like to know a little bit more about that. Hey, Dillis, nice to see you. Okay, so I am now going to introduce, I think I've faffed about for long enough, and you've probably all joined. So bless you, Claire, for your patience. What's the buzz in your business? Before we find out anything about you, what's exciting about the Venue Queen and what's going on for you?
Okay, so my big excitement at the moment is do my first Facebook Live with you. Yeah, so I'm here and I'm all ready and ready to go, and now it's time, and it's much better than it was half an hour ago.
I am absolutely certain. And the thing about that is that you can do all sorts of things to prepare for it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I know what we're going to do. I know how it's going to happen. You've been really nice, which has made life much easier.
we do our best. We definitely do our best. So to introduce you to Claire, Claire's already been working with a whole bunch of the hubbers, because she is magic at finding people the right venue for them. And so really, I'm just going to kick us off straight away and just ask this, and then we'll find out a little bit more about you as we go. So okay. What types of venues do you find that speakers, authors and coaches regularly ask you for?
Okay, so it can be anything from hotels, conference centres, barns, studios, literally anything that you can go off site for. And sometimes because you're quite creative types, it has to be quite creative venues. So sometimes we're looking under stones for unusual venues for you.
I quite like that. And you know, sort of, because, well, I'm a big fan of this, obviously wearing my workshops that work kind of hat, that sort of works. So hang on, I'm just going to share Sarah Robbie's news. So the buzz is that she started to take off her masks, the business mask, the leadership mask, and just connect with people as Sarah, which is super difficult but super awesome. So I think, Claire, you've probably got a friend right there, which works. But what's interesting is she used to be a venue booker too, which is
wow,
amazing.
Yeah, we hide behind the telephone and the screen.
I think there is something to be said for that, but hiding behind the telephone and the screen still makes for, you know, you're still beautifully supportive, and every part of the business is actually a glorious one that, you know, you need to support people. People need people like you to actually make their lives easier. So let me ask this one, because this is really the important one. In terms of people coming to you asking for a venue, what is in your checklist that you get your clients to think about when they're deciding on a venue? So I get the whole, oh my gosh, I want this, this and this, but what do you actually get them to think about?
Okay, so we take people right back to basics, and we're looking at real basic stuff that sometimes gets overlooked. So people come to us and they go, we want to do a venue, we want this workshop, and this is what we want. I need to know what your event looks like, but first of all, I need to know, when's it going to be? What geographical location do you need it in, and why? Because sometimes the geographical location you think you want it in isn't always the best one for you. The numbers. Yeah. How many delegates are you having coming, or how many guests are coming, and what format do you want them to be either seated in or stood in so that you can present to them? What AV requirements do you have? Do you need a screen? Do you need a projector? Do you need microphones? Do you need a flip chart? Or do you just need none of those? Some of these speakers are, you know, they want to do the smaller events, and actually their voice is projected enough to not need any of those things. We then need to go on to catering, we need to go on to times, and then we get down to the, what do you like in a venue? Are you looking for something traditional? Are you looking for something creative? Do you want the contemporary? Do you need something that's got a bit of outside space? We do some work for some mindfulness people, and of course they want the very calm, the tranquil, the river running at the bottom, and the green grass. So knowing what you want to do on that day really helps us get the right venue for you. And the real crunch one, which nobody ever likes to say, is the budget. If we don't know what your budget is, it's really difficult. And what we don't want to do is go and find you the most amazing venue that's 50 times over your budget, because you will fall in love with it and then you can't have it. We're going to snatch it away from you, which is really horrible.
Oh, it makes sense. And so I mean, there's a lot there for someone to think about. So when you're working with them, I'm assuming you do this in a conversation, because I mean, I guess so. What I know for sure is that we recommend you all the time in the
Thank
connection.
you do.
There's tags everywhere, and I know that you've helped several of our, whether it's speakers or authors for a book launch or coaches for workshops. I know that you've helped pretty much all of them in the group in some way.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's conversation, other times it's trying to tie up with people to actually get that conversation. It's a bit difficult, so it can be via email, it can be via Facebook Messenger, it can be via WhatsApp, it can be by text. Whatever's easiest for you, we'll just deal with it. It's absolutely fine.
I completely love that, and it really is just, I think there's something about using someone like yourself to do something like this is amazing. So do you want to take us a step back and just tell us a little bit about Venue Queen's service and how you can support the members, because it just feels appropriate for you to do a little bit of that, because some people in here may never have thought to use someone like you.
Absolutely.
Or may not actually have realized that someone like you exists, and they're then going to be going, oh my god, this is amazing.
And yes, and the bit that most people really like is the fact that you don't actually have to part with any money for my services. So I work for you absolutely free of charge. If you decide not to go ahead with the venue, the risk is all mine. There's no risk to you at all. So I set up Venue Queen for just over 3 years ago, having this year just realised I've done 31 years in the hospitality industry. And having worked my way through the operation, so I understand how your event is going to run from the basics, from the coordination point of view, all the way through to the execution of it. So I know I can look at a floor plan and say they're going to shoehorn you into that. I know they're giving you a really good rate, but unless you want to stand there like a sardine, don't do it. So so people come to me and they're looking for could be anything: offsite meetings, team building, speaking events, mindfulness workshops, NLP workshops, can literally be anything. And we do anything, to Christmas parties, to weddings. If it needs a venue, we'll do it. And all we need to know from you is, what does your event look like, the list of the date, how many people, all those bits that we just went through. And then we literally go away and we'll work on it for you. And usually a couple of days we can come back to you with a good, and we'd probably only give you the best 5. Right. We used to give more, but then we give you too much choice, and then that's not a good thing either. So we send you the ones we think are the best fit for you, and we usually put a wild card in as well. Nice. Just to see how that goes. And we want you to be honest. So if you hate all of them, that's fine, but come back and tell me why you hate it or why it's not right for you, because then we know what to avoid. Yeah. So the more information you can give us, and the more honest you can be, the easier it is moving forward. And we take notes, and then against your profile in our system, we'll put all those notes. So if you ever come back to us again and say, this is what we need, similar to last time, this is the date, this is the number of people, this is the budget, we'll go on your notes from last time. So we've not got to ask you continuously, what is it that you're looking for?
And I think that's so helpful, particularly for people who are either doing events regularly and of different sizes. So if as part of their funnel they have, large workshops and smaller retreats, or big events for multi-speakers and that kind of thing, or if they're just looking for a quirky book launch somewhere, for you to actually have that on hand means that there is a relationship there that helps you understand their business. So I love, we have a shared background in hospitality, and I love that you are, in effect, thinking on someone's behalf, and that you've got all of these questions ready, because they're probably questions that most people wouldn't think to ask, but that contribute to the comfort of every participant in the room, right?
Absolutely. And getting that right venue where the speaker feels comfortable and the delegates feel comfortable, because the speakers do give off the vibe of how comfortable they are. within a space. That's what we want to do, is make sure that we're fitting that right speaker to that right venue.
Yeah.
And we've got hundreds and hundreds of venues and contacts that we deal with all the time. So the other thing I should probably have said, although you're not paying me, I do love my job, but I don't just do it for the love. I do get paid, but I get paid by the venue after the event. But I will only get paid once I've spoken to you after the event and I know you're happy, and I also know that the venue is happy.
Fantastic. And I think there is something to be said for you building the relationship so that we can simply, you know, utilize that in a beautiful
Absolutely
way. So I really like that. Good on you. For any of you who have questions for Sarah around venues, sorry, for Claire. So I was looking at Sarah's name and looking at what Sarah just actually kind of done. So Sarah's version of it, she used to work with clubs. So clubs provide the free rooms because it's extra income for them to sell drinks, and she then takes a cut of the drinks sold. So it's a win-win-win. Which
absolutely.
Interestingly enough, I did actually look at the Hippodrome a little while back, and I nearly booked a room at the Hippodrome just for the fun of it, because it really was that. So given all of that, and given that you in effect seamlessly take on the headache that can be looking, I mean, you are just a massive time saver. And, you know, I suppose my big question is, you know, what are some of the mistakes that people make when they're choosing a venue?
So normally, as I said to start with, the budget is really critical, because if you've got a low budget, that doesn't mean you've got to go to a real ropey venue. It just means we need to be maybe a little bit creative with the dates, and maybe a little bit creative with the location. But it's all about just marrying everything up. So it's really easy for me to say, because this is what I've always done. So people come to me and say, oh, you know, I didn't have tea and coffee, I didn't think about that. So they've had people there 8 hours and they've not fed them.
Right.
And going out for lunch is fine, but actually most people do appreciate a little bit of caffeine. Or they've not understood that they didn't get any AV. So they've arrived and they've got their laptop and they're presenting to 120 people with their laptop. So it's try and think about your event through to, if you envisage yourself arriving, what do you need to get yourself ready to go with the rest of the day? And then once those people arrive, where are you going to meet them and greet them? How are they going? There's always a little bit of networking to start with. Where are they going to do that? If there's just a table at the back of the room with tea and coffee on and they've got to take it and go and sit down, doesn't quite flow so well. So if we need that bit of networking, we need that maybe just outside the room, or we need a room that's large enough to allow people to mill around, as opposed to just having enough space for the required amount of people in the room.
You know, it's really interesting as I'm listening to you, because these are things that some people will think about, but others may not actually pay attention to, particularly if it is. And so I would highly recommend for anyone who for the very first time is running an event to actually use someone like yourself, and then you basically won't want to not use someone like yourself, because actually you have seen so much and done so much that actually you know the questions to ask rather than them. And this is that whole thing that we talk about all the time around, you know, business on your terms means using your expertise and being as much in flow as you possibly can be. So actually using someone who knows what questions to ask and how to actually ask those of the venue, but also who knows how to stimulate the speaker, author, or coach that's wanting a venue. You know, that's something that they may never have thought to build in, but might now build in, that makes their event that much better. And you know, that's invaluable.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The other thing to consider is there's some amazing venues at amazing prices, but sometimes check why they're amazing prices. There's a group of venues that have really, really, really good rates. But that's because the meetings and event space is not their main business. Another part of the event is, another part of sort of the business is, if that business date changes, your event gets cancelled. So some clients are happy to run with that risk. Most probably not.
That would terrify me.
Yeah.
It would completely terrify me, because
Yeah.
again, I think one of the things that we can almost take for granted is that the atmosphere of an event, the chosen venue that you end up with, is, as you say, I love the idea of less is more. I like your location approach to, we'll throw a wild card in, but really here's your choice of 4 or 5, and that's your lot. Because actually we just want to book the venue and get on with the act of promotion. So for me, I love the fact that people like you are around that take that bit away, that mean that I can get on with marketing the event, or supporting, people in coming, or just writing the material in some way. And that really allows us to focus on that. But to actually have someone that is doing that thinking and just knows those little things about a venue, that's really, really vital. Here's a question for you. Well, so it's a 2-part question. One of them, I might flummox you with one of them. I haven't actually told you I'm going to ask you this one.
Okay.
So how many recce's do you go on? Like, you must go and travel around a little bit, see some beautiful places.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. 31 years of experience gives me a good base of product knowledge. Yeah. Hotels are, or people that work in hotels do generally stay in hotels. If you go into them and you love them, you stay in them. So you move around a lot. So you know a lot of people in a lot of different venues. You know a lot of venues, and you get to know the people in that. They then move on. So you then get to know 2 venues from that one person within the space of a year. Right. Yes, we do check out most of the venues. Yeah. If not, I have a very good network of people, of other agents that I would run something by. I would never ever send anybody to a venue that I had no knowledge of. Yeah. I want to have somebody there that I trust, and I want to have a venue there that I trust, because ultimately, if it goes wrong for you, that causes me a problem as well. I don't want you to have a problem. I want you to come back, and I want you to know that actually I'm out there doing the best that we can for you, and I can only do that by knowing and trusting the venues and the people that are within them. Yeah.
No, it makes complete and utter sense, and so sort of, so that actually ties in with the question that Marion, hi darling, how are you, Marion's just asked, which is, do you specialize in historic or interesting venues? I'm on the lookout for venues for building surveyors, but I'm always offered wedding venues at like a really pricey range. So what would you do with someone like Marion?
Okay, so there's plenty. So if you let's just say you were looking in London, just because that tends to be the most popular space, you've got all the livery halls, you've got all the museums that actually do the events, and you can do. I've just had a big event on HMS Belfast.
Oh, nice.
Exactly, but you don't tend to think of places like that when you think of running an event. No. So it's trying to think outside the box of your general conference centres, your hotels that have got history. I mean, for example, there's, let's say, the Courthouse Hotel in Shoreditch, where the restaurant, you're actually sat in the courthouse. If you go into the bar, it's got the old cells where Reggie and Ronnie Cray used to be, and they're booths now, so you can go and sit in a booth and close the door. So some venues have really run with the history that they've got. Yeah. Other venues have done nothing with it at all, and it wouldn't work. You've got Royal Horse Guards Hotel, which has got one Whitehall next to it, which is steeped in history and actually tries to encompass that history into what they do. So it's a real, you just need to look outside the box. Yeah. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, well, let's find out. Marion, let us know if you are looking for something really specific. Is that the kind of thing you're looking for, or were you going the other way? And Marion, here's the deal: just basically be in touch with Claire after this, and she'll sort you out, because that's just probably the easiest thing. There's a good reason why we recommend Claire to so many of the people looking. We want you to be out in the world doing your thing. As speakers, authors, and coaches, you are change makers. makers, as people who are really going and shaking up, you know, shaking trees and kind of making the world a better place, so to speak. Whilst that sounds twee, really, we want your focus on that. We don't want it on you having to trawl through something like the venue finding, when there are people like Claire around who can actually do that. So that's why we wanted you to get this perspective in some way. So feel free to ask any other questions. I can now see. So what's happening in the comments, Claire, is that people are starting to tag other people around. Hang on, you need to actually be paying attention to this as well. So I suspect that this will get watched over and over. So Jack says, on the other side of the scale, I'm looking for a cool but inexpensive venue for songwriters and musicians conference event. Thoughts?
Oh, depending on numbers and location, I would say. There is some amazing venues out there at amazing prices. If you're really, really budget conscious, look out of season. So say a January or February and November, depending on where Easter falls, a March or an April, but, you know, avoiding school holidays. And look on a Monday and a Friday. They are your best value days. Nice. If you're looking for, if you want a nice venue, or let's say it
help you a little bit. She's gone London and 50-ish. Putting you to the budget right here live.
The one that we use a lot, which is really good. So if you're sort of up to 100, 150 people, the Flower Pot at Hoxton is £1,200 a day. He includes his AV, he includes the chairs, and he includes unlimited tea and coffee all day. Ooh. So that's a really, really good venue. There is talk that it might not be open as from 2020, but we will know more about that from the end of this month. Yeah. But yeah, we put the Flower Pot forward a lot because for London, that is so cheap.
Yeah, no, completely. And I think that just goes to show you the variety that you actually sort of know. So let me throw this one at you. Okay, it's probably a really hard one, but what's your favorite venue and why?
Oh, I don't know if that would be fair to say, because that really depends on what the function is for, whether it needs to be a hotel, whether it, there's so many amazing ones out there, but they're all amazing for different reasons. And actually, I don't always put them all forward because they're not right for certain events. So I do have lots of lovely venues, but they're not right for everybody.
Yeah. It makes complete sense, and I think it is horses for courses. And as you were talking about the more historic places, interestingly, I was sort of thinking that depending on the theme of an event that you actually have, you might choose it even on the back of the theme of a particular piece of history or a particular piece of London, or indeed, you know, anywhere in the country in that way. So I think the key thing that's coming out here for everybody is that clarity of certainly the numbers, certainly the budget, but also, and so I'm obviously going to say this to everybody, seriously, before you actually call Claire, do a 4 intentions, which is number 15 in the file. So watch the 4 intentions and do a 4 intentions on what do I actually want for this event to be. So do a 4 intentions on your event, because that will help you brief Claire even more when you reach out to her, which makes a lot of sense. I'm just going to check if there are any other questions from anyone, which I don't think there are, but if I have missed any, then please feel free just to keep on putting them in here, because and tag Claire. Claire's in the group and she's also at the Venue Queen. But whilst I'm on that, Claire, what's the best way? How do you like people to get in touch with you?
Oh, I'm happy for any way. So email on claire@venuequeen.co.uk. Often I'm direct messaged on Facebook via either my Venue Queen page or to me personally. People WhatsApp me. I'm happy with any of them. All my social media is just at Venue Queen. I try and keep things as simple as possible because I think it makes life much less stressful for everybody.
But as far as we're concerned, Kelly and I would say we are so pleased that you actually do it in that way, because of course that makes it so easy. Yes. So I'm just actually putting those in because, you know, having someone like Claire in your corner is just, you know, you may well think of yourself, you know, if you're a speaker, author or coach who is really doing this on your own, one of the very first outsources that you could consider, because whether you are speaker, author, or coach, you are likely to do an event at some point. Even the authors out there might well do a reading circle, you might well do your book launch in some way. All of you at some point will end up using a venue in some way. And using someone like Claire, you're basically tapping into a team member that's an outsourced team member for sure, but who has all the ability to cut through the time, the energy, the hassle, the stress of doing something that you're not used to doing, but she does on a daily basis. So that's why we wanted to make sure that you all understand what someone like the Venue Queen does, but also hopefully get you thinking about what is your next event. And I'd love to know, like, feel free to pop in, you know, my next event is a training, it's a book launch, it's a this, it's a that, or maybe you've even started thinking, oh, if I don't have to think about that, maybe I will do an event. So we'd love to know, wouldn't we, Claire?
Yeah, no, absolutely. The other thing I perhaps should point out as well is, if you decide that you want to confirm one of the events or one of the venues, the contract is made out to you. You sign the contract and you pay the venue directly. So
Brilliant.
None of that comes through me. Normally what I ask them to do is copy me in on the contract, and I check the contract is as we discussed, because often venue contracts are not quite as straightforward as we would like to think they are. And often extra little things creep in that perhaps shouldn't be there. So we check that through, and then I normally just drop me an email to say, as far as I'm concerned, as long as you're happy with terms and conditions, this one is good to go. And then again, when they send the invoice through, normally I get copied in, and I'll just check it through and make sure they've not added any extra little items that sometimes appear on bills.
You are just a godsend, is all I can say.
Thank you.
Why anybody wouldn't. Oh, well, it just makes a lot of sense to use the expertise. You know, again, I'm going to keep coming back to this, is business on your terms is all about you doing what you do best and allowing other people around you to do what they do best, so that we can provide the best experience for those who we want to support and help with the knowledge that you have. So I'm just really, really grateful, A, for your presence in general, B, for the support that you give to everybody inside the Connection Hub and within Speaker Insight in general, and C, just for sharing so many little things that people might now go away and think about in terms of what would make their events a better thing.
No, thank you so much for everything that you do for me. That's great. I'm just little Claire, and my company's Venue Queen, and we've got somebody now that's working with us as well, because the inquiries are coming through, which is absolutely great. So thank you.
Brilliant. Oh no, you're welcome. And for everyone here watching, because this may well be relevant for them as well, Claire, you've been on a Facebook Live for about an hour.
I know. I know.
How are you doing?
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. Now it's now happening. It's all good. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Oh, you are so welcome, so welcome. And I am pretty certain that I will make you turn this into a checklist of sorts that we can then add to this Facebook Live very, very soon. So I'm sure I'll give you some homework, which is my normal thing to do.
Thank you so much, Helena.
You're so welcome. So goodbye to everybody. But remember, if you've got an event coming up, don't take the stress on for yourself. Give it over to someone who knows much better than you, and enjoy, and let us know what events you've got coming up. Have a beautiful, wonderful, glorious day to all of you, UK or in the globe, wherever you are. And we will see you next Tuesday when Kelly is indeed back. Ooh. Take care.